Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to start an important part of our learning series, which is how to create functions. And what a function is, it's a group of code lines. Think about it like a code block that I want to execute a number of different times. We can name a function, so then we can use that name later on when I want to call it. Sometimes functions, though, are anonymous. So let's take a look at how we can define and then call functions. So here we are. This is video number 8. I've already set the title for this. We do not need this HTML anymore. And here's our outline. There's 3 different ways to create functions, and they all have different purposes and different pros and different cons. The first way is we're going to declare the function itself. And I'm going to declare this function called greet. And we'll make it look like that. All right, so there's our function. I'm going to save, and you're going to see my ID is going to move this bracket up to the end of the definition. That's probably a standard way for JavaScript. I do like to spread my brackets out and have them on their own line, but this is okay also, just like this. I have this greet function. I've declared it, I've created it, so let's go ahead and execute it. And I can call it just like that. So this is the declaration of that function, and this is me executing that function. If I come over here and I refresh our page, you can see that I get hello from the greet function. And that's our first way of creating a function. We're going to declare it. This syntax was around first, and it's been around for a long time, but it's still a valid way to create your function. The second way that we can create a function is we can use an expression. And we've run into expressions before with variables. On this side, I'm going to have a variable name, and we'll call it say hi. And on the other side, we're going to set this equal to what we want it to be. And what we want this to be is a function. And what we're doing is do the same thing. Hello from the say hi function. I've defined, or I've created this function, and now let's execute it by calling it. I'm going to refresh my page over here, and let's see what we get. And we get what we expect, right? We get that new string out from the say hi function. So that's the second way that you can create a function. This is using an expression to set a variable equal to that function. And these 2 ways are equivalent, so you can use what you feel is best. Sometimes I lean towards this method, especially if I'm inside of an object and I want to create methods inside objects. Other times, I'm just straight up declaring it like that. Now there's a third way that got introduced more recently using an arrow function syntax. And this syntax sometimes can take a function that's all on maybe 2 or 3 lines, and it can collapse it down to a single line. But let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. So I have a wave, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by just copying and pasting this function declaration that's right here. And we're going to call wave just like this. So say hi from the wave function. So far I haven't done anything new. This is really just the same thing as a function expression. If I refresh the page, I'm going to get what I expect. I get the 3 lines. But now let's make this use the arrow syntax. So the arrow syntax, first I'm going to get rid of the keyword for function. I do not need that anymore. And then after the opening parens, I'm going to use an arrow to declare the code block. And if I refresh this page, I'm going to get the same thing. Most of the time when you have a single line like this, you will see the arrow function all on one line. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and you'll see this bit of code, which is a shorter syntax. And I have this function wave, and it's declared using an arrow function. I've got rid of my brackets, and it's all in one line. If I refresh this, I get the same thing again. So a couple of different versions of the arrow function there. And as you write functions, you're going to lean towards one method or another for creating your functions. And there's not really a right or a wrong way. Sometimes syntactically, it's a little sweeter if you can get away with more succinct definition like this when you create it. Other times, I think it's more clear to use the declaration. And still other times, like if I'm in an object, for example, and I'm going to create a method, I prefer this syntax. So either way, I'll use all 3 sometimes. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about functions again, and we're going to start talking about parameters, passing data into functions, and we're going to talk about return values, getting data out of functions. So I'll see you then.